Well, we're back again at EdgeMate. I'm your host, Chad Cook, partner at Bridgepoint Technologies, tech advisory firm. And yes, you may see something a little different. We're in a different venue, and I got a tree there, I got a painting, but most importantly, we have Tim Farnham, the first guest at the new setup. He is owner of Black Label Real Estate.
Correct.
And why are you giving me?
Because you kept on saying it wrong earlier.
So primarily residential, but you're also doing a real estate fund as well currently as well.
That is correct. Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about your business and maybe just a little bit about that fund, and then how you made your way over to the Bay Area.
Sure. So Black Label Real Estate, it's basically like new trends. So like social media, that kind of stuff, but it still has like an old school touch, old school flavor. Like I'm more about relationship building than like actually like selling real estate. Like it's more about like building those relationships, really understanding the customer, like old school.
Well, you helped me out.
Yeah,
you helped me, and
it took time to get you the spot that you wanted, right? But we were patient, and you love it.
It was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, right. So it's all about really listening to the clients. Old school, traditional values. But I also do a lot of like social media, YouTube, that kind of stuff. That is more, like that's right now what helps grow a business right now. Is that online presence. So.
Yep, that is. I'm trying to grow my online presence.
Yeah,
I think the channel now has like 57 people. Maybe, hopefully, 2 more people subscribe. No,
yeah. My mom will subscribe, and maybe my big brother. So
cool, awesome. Well, how did you make it to the Bay Area?
Okay, yeah. So I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
And we have all 4 seasons. In the summer it's 110. In the winter it's -10. And I was graduating with my master's degree in engineering management, and a company in Mill Valley wanted to interview me. So I came out. It was a blizzard in Nebraska.
Yep.
Came out, and it was like gorgeous, like 65 degrees, sunny.
You're like, I'm in. It splits the difference right in the middle. Yeah.
And I was like big into cycling at the time, so they told me to like bring my bike. So like here I was like leaving this like snowstorm that was awful. And I landed in San Francisco, 65 and sunny, and I'm like riding my bike just in like regular, cycling gear just around Mill Valley. It was so beautiful. And I was just like, oh my God.
Like, isn't Omaha the land of Warren Buffett, and there's flat? Is it flat?
Oh, as flat
Oh,
can
wow,
be.
yeah. You're just like, this is like Eden.
Yeah. So if you want to go climbing, you just go find an overpass. Mm-hmm. Just, you get a little, 50 feet of elevation. That's about it. So coming out here doing Mount Tam like in January is just incredible.
That's awesome. Well, welcome to the Bay Area. I'm just kidding. Wait, how long have you been here then now?
So that was like early 2006 is when I interviewed for that job. And I actually moved out in November 2006.
Okay. Well, now we're going to move on to like the icebreaker stage segment of the show. I'm going to give you a couple cards. One is essentially for adults. The other one is for basically questions for kids. But I think we're all kids at heart, so it doesn't matter.
Of course.
This question is, tell me about something you're really good at. Mountain biking. I'm just kidding.
Something I'm really good at. Like, I don't know. I'm one of these people, like, adult with ADHD. And so, like, when I find something that I'm, like, interested in.
Oh, I see.
I have this ability to, like, absolutely hyper-focus and become, like, subjectively really good at it in a very short amount of time.
You're the type to pick up a Tetris game, solve Tetris, and move on to the next.
Right. And so, like, that's, and that's kind of, like, I've been involved in so many things. Like, I was a manufacturing engineer for 3M company for a while, got really good at that. But then, like, my hobby was a cyclist. And I went from, like, amateur to professional, and actually raced 3 years as a professional.
Oh, that's
because
awesome.
I just focused on it, and it was just like my obsession. And then
where would you go in the world to cycle? Like where was the
so the furthest I went was Ireland.
Oh, that's cool.
I did the post on Ross out there, 8-day stage race, 100 miles a day in like brutal winds and rain and cold. And, it was awful, but it was so fun. But mainly it was racing around the country.
Okay.
So kind of like the domestic.
Oh, so that took you, yeah. So learn a hobby, and then basically, go travel the world. I guess there's a good lesson there.
Exactly, and yeah, so I just pick up various hobbies or whatever business ideas and just kind of go with them, and just focus. That's kind of my strength, my superpower, if you will.
It's awesome. Yeah. All right. The next question. What is your favorite board game? Oh man, this is my favorite question for myself.
Catan. Right now it's Catan. Yes.
Wait, have we talked about this? Have we talked about this? I've been playing that game for like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I remember picking that early 2000s.
And now there's a game table in the club level at Millennium Tower.
Specific for Catan? No, I saw that. It's for any particular game.
It's for any game.
Oh,
but there's like 5 chairs. So we're going to have like Catan night where we bring
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I actually literally have 60 board games downstairs right now. One of them like being Catan and like all the expansions. Like I have Seer Fairs, like a Barbarian, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'm geeking out on Catan right now. Sorry.
So fun. So fun. Are we sponsored by Catan? Or is that just a plug?
Brought to you by
Catan and Milton Bradley or whoever made that?
It's definitely not. No, that's a German company. Oh. But I forgot. Yeah, definitely not Milton Bradley. But they have a good run themselves. All right, so now we're gonna go on to the SWOT analysis stage. EdgeMate, as you know, is about what is your edge in the marketplace? How do you differentiate yourself from everyone else? And so at Black Label, how would you say I think you kind of alluded to a little bit about old school approach, but like what are your strengths that would set you apart from, you would say, some of your competition?
Sure. So some of the strengths is like I really embrace social media. So I've got my YouTube channel and Instagram and stuff like that where I really covet it and it really brings in a lot of clients. I think that's something that any agent right now that's like really growing fast, they all have.
And you're pretty good at it too. I've seen your shorts and and high quality too. Yeah.
Thank you. I actually have a really good cinematographer who does some of the more the long format stuff.
Okay.
And then we actually use little AI to make the shorts out of the long format stuff.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And then it actually helps schedule that out, and that helps make my life easier. But yeah, just strengths is kind of like that personal touch. Like I really do try to build a relationship with the people so that I actually know what they want. And I'm not just trying to sell them something, right?
Yeah.
Then the other one is just having that social media presence and really embracing it and just being consistent with it.
Cool. All right. So conversely, what would be some of the weaknesses weaknesses?
Weaknesses, I feel like I'm not, like me personally, as a realtor, I'm not a sales guy. I'm just not. So I'm one of those guys, I just feel like I'm not a sales guy.
You look like a sales guy.
I look like a sales guy. And some people might think I come off as salesy, but I have I'm not one that will convince you if you don't like it. I'm not somebody who can convince you.
You don't have an agenda.
No, I don't have an agenda. I'm kind of a pleaser, and so I feel like maybe if I could learn how to do that, but it wouldn't be it's not me. But I feel like that's something that other agents that are doing much more volume than I am, I meet them and it's oh man, you got that dialed.
I was gonna say I can help you become a salesperson, but I probably shouldn't say that on this format with all my clients watching me right now.
Of course.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help you.
All right.
So what would be some opportunities in the residential space right now? Or opportunities for your company?
Opportunities for my company is that right now, there's been a little bit of a renewed interest in buying real estate in San Francisco or even in Soma, which is kind of my niche. So I definitely like January came and there's been a lot of renewed buyer interest. However, that kind of changed as of maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. But like the market's definitely it was changing favorably and then it went unfavorably.
Is it the tariffs have something to do with that? No.
It's all about uncertainty, right? People only buy real estate when they feel confident about their financial position and confident that the market isn't going to like bomb or they're not going to lose their job. And so I think one of the weaknesses just as a company that I have is that it is, or at least the real estate side, it is very subject to the weather.
Yep.
You know, so it'll have extreme ups, extreme downs. You know, when it rains, it pours. You know, feast, famine. You know, so it's not really consistent in terms of how the business is run because it's so subject to the economy and you know microeconomics that's going on.
And there's definitely a lot going on right now.
Yeah. Opportunities though, like this, and this is kind of, we can't talk too much about it, but like right now, like very few people actually want to buy. Interest rates are still high. People are still kind of nervous about job security. And so, especially in Soma, which is where a lot of the jobs were lost, you know, a lot of people are nervous. Even though there is a lot of hiring going on, and I get calls all the time about people wanting to, you know, rent, but that's what it is. Right now, everybody wants to rent. And so we're seeing an interesting dynamic where nobody wants to buy.
That's how we kind of like start doing
Nobody
things.
wants to buy. Everybody wants to rent. We're seeing like prices still at like 2015 levels to like buy these places, but rents are like pre-COVID level. So there's a gap there. And that's kind of where I can't talk too much about it, but that's where people have approached me to help like launch this fund to like really to take advantage of that gap.
Okay. And then what would be potential threats to that idea? Or I think, confidence and you know, political factors kind of.
Sure. I mean, for like, you know, there's really two businesses here, right? There's the actual brokerage itself and more job uncertainty, you know, interest rates still high, people still afraid of buying because they don't know what's going to happen. Right now, you know, the stock market is tanking. We don't know how long that's going to last. So all of a sudden, almost all my buyer clients are like, wait, I want to see what's going on.
I know, right?
Right. So they've all pumped the brakes, you know. So there's that threat, you know, it's just always there. But then also from the other side, from the fund side, it's like, it's actually really good because everyone else is backing out of the market, yet my phone's ringing all the time for people wanting to rent something. And I do leasing as well. I do, you know, I do like luxury condo leasing in Soma. And so it's like, that's what I have.
I think that's a good distinction. So like you, not only do you help buy and sell, but you can help people rent on the residential side.
Right. Right.
So,
and I generally only represent the like landlords. I almost never do tenant placement unless they're like a friend. You know, so I will help, you know, my friends in my circle when they need a place, but I generally represent landlords. And that's the thing is that we get like, anytime I have a listing, it's just, the phone is just off the hook right now to lease it out. Like I think the last 4 properties I leased out, they were pretty much leased out in under 3 days. And that's how quick things are going. And it's leasing is just super fast right now. Big market for rentals.
Yep. Well, now for the segment that everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah.
It's the tarot card.
Yeah.
And I reviewed the card that you pulled earlier, and it is the 9 of Rods or 9 of Wands. Don't worry, my editor will enhance the image on a later time. So basically, what that card means, so 9s typically mean that, rods are basically creating something, like wands, like Harry Potter. Rods might building something, you're creating something. And then nines basically mean you put in so much work that you deserve it. So the combination of those cards together is basically you've been building something, you're working hard, you persevered, you've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations, and victory will be yours. But it's just like there's always this constant like thing. And I think we kind of talked about some of those uncertainties. But like 4 weeks ago, everything was just right there. So what this card says is just keep at it, and because like the economy will get better, and I think everything's going to work out exactly the way that you want it to. The card's spoken. I'm good at this.
Yeah,
I have not had one person call me back after an episode say, "Listen, your card was not." No, everything's worked out.
Yeah, actually, that card, it actually does like mean a lot to me.
That was a legit pull too.
Right, it was a legit pull. There's this old Japanese saying, I'm not Japanese, I can't say Japanese, but it's basically the concept is 6 times fall off the horse, 7 times get back on.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of what it is. I've been in a lot of ventures and, they work and then they fade away and then do something else.
Just got to keep at it, keep going.
Yeah. I feel like, especially going from, like I did my MBA because like I love real estate. I love being a realtor, but I know there's like so much more that I can do. And that's why launching this fund and like really getting into that world as well. I feel like that might be the culmination of just building these relationships, building the knowledge, of the local real estate market and knowing who to talk to get certain things done. So
that's
like
awesome.
That. Yeah.
Well, Tim, thank you so much. And then anyone that has further questions about real estate, residential, particularly in the San Francisco area, his contact details the editor will put it somewhere. You'll be able to see it and click on it. Thank you again for joining us at EdgeMate. Have a good rest of the day and see you next time.